Hi. We continue in John Wenham's The Goodness of God. This time he's dealing with the stumbling block of providence. What are we to make of the fact that there are so many horrible things that have happened in history and that are still happening if God is in charge? Here are Wenham's comments on this stumbling block. These considerations go far to show the consistency of the biblical position. The moral difficulty of the Bible is not merely a problem of the Old Testament, nor even of the New Testament. It is a problem common to the teaching of the Old Testament, of the New Testament, and of Christ himself. But so far, our conclusions have been largely negative, and at first sight far from helpful to the defender of the Christian faith. We have done little more than to add to the well-known difficulty of the Old Testament two further and even more serious difficulties: the moral difficulty of the New Testament and the moral difficulty of Christ's teaching. But we must go yet one step farther into the abyss before we can hope to see light. We must recognize that there is not only the moral difficulty of the Bible, there is also the whole complex of difficulties in the world about us, to which we referred to at the beginning, which we may describe as the moral difficulty of providence. That the degree and extent of evil to be seen in the Bible is much the same as that to be seen in the world is fairly clear. As far as human sin and its results are concerned, the Bible portrays the world faithfully. Fear, lust, greed, callousness, cynicism, racial tension, oppression, imprisonment, war, and torture are all there. Deformity, disease, innocent suffering, bereavement, and death are there too, as are natural disasters and the great impersonal forces of world history and animal pain. The scale of the one matches the scale of the other. What the Bible lacks, and a modern scientific study of the world supplies, is a knowledge of some of the natural forces which govern mental and bodily disease and heredity and physical catastrophes. What scientific study lacks, and the Bible supplies, is some knowledge of the spiritual forces which govern the world, and the Bible also gives us some glimpses of the world to come. The only difficulties that are peculiar to the Bible are those which seem to suggest that God is either the author of some evils or that he approves of them. Now, if the same sort of difficulties which we find in the Bible are also to be found in providence, it follows that attempts to make the Bible acceptable to modern palate by deleting all that appears savage and bloodthirsty will land us in difficulties over the question of providence. We can see with our own eyes that God allows war, famine, disease, torture, and misery, and that on a colossal scale. Though it is profoundly difficult to understand, it is thoroughly consistent with what we see in the Bible. It is, in fact, easier to accept the God of the Bible than it is to accept a liberalized God, whose character has ceased to be terrible. The God of liberal theology is not only out of touch with the Bible, but also with the world as we find it. This recognition of a certain grim consistency within the Bible, and a grim consistency between the Bible and the world of nature, is not likely to make the Christian faith any more palatable to those outside, at least for the time being. But it does serve a very useful purpose if it helps to solve the domestic controversy within. It shows the most promising way of tackling both problems and makes it clear that nothing will be gained by running away from the Bible. If Christianity is true at all, the position of strength will be found in a bold assertion of faith. Faith in the living God, who has spoken in Christ Jesus. Faith in Jesus Christ as teacher. Faith in the Scriptures, which he authenticated. Faith in the perfect love of God, which he revealed. In the end, the full biblical doctrine will speak more deeply to the needs of the unconvinced than will any diluted version of Christian teaching. So you'll notice that Wenham always presents the difficulty first and lays it out, and he even lays out possible solutions that have been offered, but usually unsatisfactory ones, so that we can now face the challenge directly of, and honestly, the problem and how to deal with it. I'm going to link two videos. One was one that I did when I was covering C.S. Lewis's book, Mere Christianity. In this particular episode, the video is called C.S. Lewis Argues with God, World Unjust, Cruel. So this was a stumbling block for Lewis. So I thought that would be a good one to watch. And the second one is called Two Takes on Slavery, Civil War, One Take on Jesus. Why would we have two takes on war if we were Christians, and one take on Jesus? So I thought that would be one worth watching. So the next time we're going to be, or Wenham is going to be facing hell, the teaching of hell, and the different positions that are held on that subject.